You ever leave a glass of milk on the counter and find it's gone sour by morning? Or lose your car keys only to find them in the middle of the kitchen floor an hour later? You tell yourself it's just bad luck, or maybe forgetfulness. It's much more comforting than admitting you're being toyed with by something you can't see. Welcome back to the Brothers of the Unknown. Tonight, we're looking at the small folk. The ones who lived in hedges and the hollows before you paved over them. What if you hadn't broken the circles? What if the world was still full of deals you couldn't win and paths that led to nowhere? Personally, I find them exhausting. Too much glitter and too many riddles, but at least they keep you humans on your toes. Your hosts for this trip into the thicket are Mr. B and Mr. K. One of them is currently trying to bribe a guard gnome with a sugar cube, and the other is wearing his shirt inside out because he read it stops him from being kidnapped. Gentlemen, watch your step. If you hear music in the studio, don't start dancing.
Thanks, Boogie. Today's topic, I kind of want to bring up is the Fae. I kind of want to shotgun this episode a little bit because in the future I'd like to go over some of these things a little more in depth. But what comes to mind when you think about the Fae, Mr. B?
Oh, shoot, the Fae. I don't know. I'm assuming probably fairies. The mystical. I guess what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like like Harry Potter and like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. You know, kind of derives
the gremlins,
from
the goblins,
yeah,
fairies,
the orcs and
the orcs. Yeah,
you know, like all those things. Yeah, that's what comes to my mind. But I'm pretty sure it's not quite just that, right?
I mean, I kind of like to categorize the Fae with entities that have a severe allergic reaction to iron.
Okay. So
go ahead.
God. It's okay. Go ahead.
Well, you know, most Fae things have been depicted as, you know, being warded off by iron, or, you know, fairies being hunted and or, you know, for their wings, or, you know, there's all kinds of tales that their stuff gets turned into. So potions for wizards and witches and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so so essentially, what they're ingredients?
Yeah, I mean, that's some humans like depicted as, you know, yes, like they catch a goblin and use its fingernails to create some kind of magical potion of poisoning or something. You know, I'm not sure with the full details, but the Fae
Right.
have been sought after for their magical abilities. For like a non-magical folk can do black magic as like capturing a fairy and creating a ritual or something, and using that fairies, like ripping the magic from the fairy to use the magic as your own kind of stuff.
Okay, so kind of like how they do like in old Disney movies where they have this wicked witch that just, you know, needs a frog's hair and a goblin's fingernail.
Toe.
I don't know. or troll's toe, or
yeah, troll snot, or you know, something of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I need the heart of a unicorn. I don't know.
Oh, geez, that sounds horrible.
Dark magic kind of stuff, but you know, that's just
that is pretty dark.
Piece of the Fae world, you know, the Fae have to deal with, I guess.
Okay, so where is the origins of the Fae? Like, what part of the world did it originally come from?
I believe it originated in Europe.
Europe, okay. Well, that sounds about right. So, like, Scotland or
probably. These are your goblins, your elves, your leprechauns. You know, anything shorter than 3 foot tall and has some kind of magic ability, whether it's just walking in between shadows or what. You know, if you're leave something on your counter and you go walk away for 5 minutes and you turn around, you're like, I could have swore I left a juice box here sitting on the counter and nobody else is here to move it on me, and maybe I sat it somewhere random, and you go looking for it, you walk into a couple rooms, you don't find it, you're like, man, I wouldn't set it in here, I don't even think I came in here, and you go back to where you originally started, and there's the mother scratching juice box. And you're just like, I'm pretty sure I would have saw it if it was there out in the open, and it wasn't here a minute ago. Am I losing my mind? Maybe. Or you probably have a goblin or something.
So that explains all the socks issue.
Right? It's not your dryer, your washing machine taking your socks. It's the little goblin hitting the pause button, you know, rummaging around, and it's like, oh, sweet.
So why do goblins actually go and take stuff? Like is it just something like that they're kleptomaniacs, or are they
they're thought to be like tinkerers? I thought they want to take things to use them, build stuff with, or you know, or you know, more on the leprechaun side of things, they're just tricksters and want to mess with you. Maybe you were walking down a trail and you kick their favorite rock or something, and that's big news to them. So they're just like, this mother scratcher came into my area and tore up my mushroom
Sacred
garden
rock.
And now I'm gonna follow him home and mess with him.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Now I got a question, like, because if it does origin over there in Europe and stuff like that, well, I guess I kind of might have just answered my own question in my own head. My question was going to be like, how did they get over here, for one? And then I answered myself by like, oh, you know, where did the pilgrims come from?
Yeah, they just stuck on the ship, you know.
Right.
And they're the Fae. They have like magical ways. They could be like a Bigfoot. They just pop into a squirrel hole or something, and they come out another end some timey-wimey way, and you know, they have full reign of wherever they want to go and be. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
You think it's a rabbit hole, but it's just an Alice in Wonderland dimension that goblins and leprechauns use to travel.
You know, that would actually be kind of crazy though, to think of that. Just ordinary things that you see in the woods, you know, that could be something that be used as like a transportation for the Fae. It would be kind of wild to think about, you know.
Well, maybe they have like the weeping angels kind of aspect. Maybe they turn into like a clay statue when they're viewed or something, or they do a Toy Story thing when they've been spotted, they freeze, and if you pick them up, they're stone like or something. You're like, oh, I don't remember getting this garden gnome for my garden. Maybe my neighbor got it for me and put it out here. Thanks. You know, you talk to him a week later and the gnome is gone, and you're like, hey, did you put a garden gnome in my property and maybe take it? Or like, I seen it sitting there one day and the next it was gone. It was kind of odd.
Kind of reminds me of that Goosebumps episode where there was just nothing but a bunch of garden gnomes that would come to life in the dark.
Maybe they're like gargoyles, and they are like a statue in the daylight and they're active beings in the night, or I don't know. They're magical. Right. They can do what they want, I guess.
Yeah, at that point.
Red hat freaking wandering your lawn, I think I'd be a little worried. So you think he's just, oh, it's a cute garden gnome. I like his little red hat, until you find out why it's red.
Well, let's go a little bit into that. What is the difference between just the regular garden gnome and a red hat?
Well, I would say regular garden gnome is probably your more peaceful, like your Smurfs, you know, they have their own little town or something. But your red caps, now they're a little more menacing. They like to capture people and dye their hats in the blood of their victims.
Damn, that went really dark.
Yeah. so yeah, you think your little cute garden gnome with his little red pointy hat out there, but when you know the real origin story of why their hat is red, you're going to look at it a little differently.
Yeah, just a little bit. Nah, you got me worried about getting like little statues for my lawn.
Yeah, be wary of your fairy gardens that you guys are building out in your front yards or whatever. You know, if you want to keep things away, yeah, sure, put a red cap in your front lawn, and you know, rabbits will know what that means, and you won't see a rabbit.
So now I might have maybe not necessarily a theory, but like a question that could be a theory. Now, the whole garden gnome situation, like for us nowadays, I mean, they're just like little statues, decorative, you know, situation for your lawn and gardens and whatnot. Now, do they actually hold some sort of like superstition, you know, like just from where you just kind of portrayed it a little bit there? Like, is that actually a thing? Like
yeah okay. Like they would lure you off, or you know, they're little tricksters. The red caps are known for making weapons, so they can make like hammers and little axes, maybe a bow and arrow or something like that. You know, and they portray themselves as cute or something at first, you know, trying to lure you in. And you know, once you get lured in too quick, you got like 20 of them jumping all over you, and they're bagging and tagging you.
Well, I guess it's more along the lines of like the question would be more, is it used as like a decoy to scare off, you know,
no, I believe the red cap thing is more of a trophy, you know. Usually the younger of their generations have white or brown hats. And usually the ones, it's kind of like a scalping thing, you know. It's like you take a scalp as your trophy back in the Wild West and stuff like that. I guess, you know, you go from being a normal gnome to I'm a warrior because I have the red hat. You know, that's my theory anyways.
Okay. Well, no, I'm talking about like the garden gnomes that you get from like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Like, are they used as more of like a supernatural, like not necessarily decoy, but award?
That I'm not unsure. If you want to face that question to our viewers, maybe, and see if anybody has some comments, like why do you guys use garden gnomes in your garden? Do they do they do anything for you guys? Are they just like cute for you guys to decorate, or do they keep rabbits away? I mean, are they like a little scarecrow for a garden or something?
Right, exactly. You know, something that's on all fours, you know, crawling through your garden that you don't necessarily want to have. You put up one of those little red hats, and they're like, huh, "Oh shit!" You know?
Yeah. You got some chickens in the backyard. You put a little red hat gnome back there, and Fox goes, "Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to, and I didn't know this property was taken. I'm out. Bye." So I don't know.
Yeah, or is it something that's more of like a superstitious kind of thing? You know, like where, you know how like people will have horseshoes all over their house to bring good luck, right?
Good luck,
stuff like that. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something like that. Maybe one of you guys that's out here listening to this rambling on.
You bring up an interesting fact too, like the lucky horseshoe was like the whole iron thing against the fae, and I think it was a leprechaun thing. Like the lucky horseshoe and the iron keeps leprechauns at bay, or they are less likely to play tricks on you, or it's like a ward, and it keeps goblins and gnomes and stuff out of your shed or barn, so your stuff doesn't come up missing or whatever. I have a few mechanic buddies that love to talk about their shop goblins. It pretty much the reason why they're always missing their 10 millimeter socket.
Oh no, those are the bad ones to lose. Like I lose them all the dang time sometimes.
I bought 10 of these yesterday. I turned around and 9 of them are gone. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just over here trying to look up maybe some backstories, maybe get some idea. Oh yeah, here we go. An iron horseshoe is a traditional powerful talisman in European folklore used to ward off, repel, and injure fae, quote unquote, fairies, witches, and evil spirits. Oh, there we go.
Because the fae is kind of like your sprites and some spirits too. They aren't just locked to like fairies and elves, and it's just kind of the fae is their genre of cryptids or special creatures. You know, like you have your Greek gods and your mythical creatures along that lore. I believe this is European fae lore. There's all these creatures that are kind of tied together, and I don't know, they don't age, or supposedly they're not born normally, they don't age, they live forever, or when they do perish, they turn into a plant, they turn into rocks. You know, it kind of leans into the giant topic I'd like to bring up here in the near future of, you know, if these magical beings did exist, and the pilgrimage of humankind wiped it out and made them go extinct, and now they're just they live alive in fairy tales and folklore. There's no evidence of them being around because they don't leave fossils like animals and people. So.
Yeah, no, I am just going down a rabbit hole all in myself over here.
Well, do share the rabbit hole, because I don't want to be the only one yelling at Alice down the rabbit hole going, "Hey, you gonna come back out anytime soon? I'm waiting here."
Yeah, no, it's just the fact that, you know, like, I mean, I knew, like, you know, Supernatural, the TV show, right? And iron is, you know, like their go-to situation when it comes to, you know, the spiritual realm and stuff like that. But like, I didn't know this was like as steeped in that kind of lore, especially the folklore when it comes to like the fae, I guess. I mean, it's actually pretty kind of interesting. And all like that cold iron is a protective shield against supernatural beings. So I mean, like, I wonder, is that like, I'm assuming they're probably talking about ghosts and evil spirits.
The ghosts fit like a different term when you're talking about like not someone who passed away, but like who the Native Americans talked to, the things that they messed with to become skinwalkers, those kind of spirits, you know, not something that was once human, or maybe they were once human, but it's hard to say in that one. But you know, to ward off bad juju and welcome in good juju, that sort of stuff. Maybe what your shamans tap into, your Native Americans, like I said, you know, and people, you know, maybe in Ireland, especially with the whole leprechaun thing that they deal with over there, they realized when they put up a horseshoe or they had horses, they realized that their barn never got messed with, you know, ever since they nailed up their horses, their favorite horse passed away, and they just wanted to remember the horse by nailing one of its horseshoes on the headboard, or not the headboard, but the overhead board of their barn door. And they notice, you know, some of their tools don't come up missing anymore, and it just turns into a good luck charm. But you realize you had warded off maybe a leprechaun or a goblin or an imp that was messing with you for who knows why.
Right. So, another thing too, that the symbolism serves a dual purpose as keeping evil or fae out. So, is this like the fae itself? Are they bad inherently, or is it just
what? I mean, the fae have like twisted stories. You're like your tooth fairy. We depict it as sweet and fluffy and glittery. But like the tooth fairy's original lore fed on human teeth, so their diet, what they went after, usually meant that they were after humans. But these could also be boogeyman stories to paint something different and weird in a bad light. We could be totally wrong. And then everything catches a bad rap because, you know, a red hat decided to kidnap a child, and now all fae are bad, you know. Right.
Kind of like the whole Freddy Krueger aspect, you know. But he was a bad guy entirely. So
yeah, that's a bad reference. In your dreams.
Yeah. No. Apparently they refer them to as good neighbors. The fae is that?
Well,
is that
there are good fae. Like sometimes you'll have like a ring of mushrooms or something in your backyard, and people will just say, "Oh, it's just how the mushroom seeds and grows." That may be factual, but it's usually a good omen or a sign that a sprite or a spirit, or you know, you have a toadstool ring, and it was like, "Oh, you got visited by elves or gnomes, or a couple of fairies met up and had a dance in your backyard, and that's their sign of, you know, they were here or caused something magical." You know, so there are good things, there are bad things, and then there's some things that just make no difference one way or the other. You know, if you have like a Tinkerbell fairy around your garden, you know, probably nothing bad. But if you have like a tooth fairy around, you might need to set up some wards.
No, I'm just kind of going through the whole horseshoe protection lore going on here. And
Mr. B found a lucky horseshoe, apparently.
I'm gonna have to give you one, apparently. I mean, shoot.
I'm tired of my 10 millimeters coming up missing. I'm getting a horseshoe.
Right. No, but like just where you place it, how you utilize it, how you keep it in your home, and where you keep them in your home. Like it's kind of, you know, kind of crazy. Like, I guess using iron filings into like a spray bottle with water is a great way to
water.
yeah, for the fae, apparently. You know, you just like a bad cat.
Bad. Bad garden gnome. Bad. You took a bite of my apple. Psst, psst.
Right, exactly. No, but it's kind of interesting. Like, I never really knew that this particular element was versatile when it comes to the supernatural or the fae itself. It's pretty interesting.
To go back to your question though, like, are they good or bad? One, I'd like to shoot a shout out to our fans. If you feel one way or the other on some fae type things, leave us a comment. But to kind of get back to where I was going is the Christianity kind of had a pilgrimage, and if it wasn't Christian or didn't kind of line up with that, that whole thing seemed to wipe out the fae. I don't know if this was kind of like the Templar things, and they did actually exist. I mean, who's it's hard to say, put your tinfoil hat wearing theories up, but it could have been like they actually did existed, and humans were like, this world isn't big enough for the both of us, and we've figured out your weakness. So, and then they just go on a spree of annihilating all these magical entities, and now that's why we don't have them anymore. So, I mean, they could have been good, they could have been indifferent, or they could have just been surviving. It's hard to say.
Yeah, no, that could be the case. I mean, I'm just kind of wondering now, since you bring that up, I'm trying to figure out, like, if there is any kind of lore behind that. Someone, or maybe a religion, if not, like, maybe a group of individuals said, hey, well, let's get rid of the fae. And
I mean, even some say that dragons existed, or we have it wrong, or they cover it up in a certain way or something, and knights in shining armors went to caves and hunted these things because they were tired of their livestock getting gobbled up by sky lizards. So
sky lizards.
When the sharks get too big in the ocean, they start going after them too. So
that's funny.
But I guess I can't say that. We have the whale shark, but that thing doesn't have teeth. The teeth in the sense that eats big, large things that it could possibly eat. But I don't know. Kind of going off on a tangent here.
No, I'm just over here trying to figure out what happened to them. In the folklore, that is.
Speculate. What do you got for me? Because we're getting about to that time, and I would like to bring this up in future episodes and maybe talk more specifically on a select few of the fae, or maybe get into a what if they still lived amongst us today, or were they killed off, and did they actually exist? Maybe they still do exist, and they've learned that putting themselves out into the light, it means danger for their kind, so they stick to the shadows and mess with you when they can.
Yeah, that might be what it is. Yeah, I guess, my theory would probably be just that. I mean, kind of like how vampires, they wouldn't just come out and say, hey, vampires are around, because then humanity would be all like, oh, we don't need vampires. Let's just kill them all.
We can't have that. I don't get to live forever. You don't get to live forever.
Right. No, it's almost like how, if something like, just so happens that, people start getting powers, somehow, some way, that normal people would be like, no, that I want powers. And if I can't have powers, then you not need to be here either.
I don't know. Like, even finding a leprechaun's gold, like, the gold is said to be magical in a sense. Like, you can wish on a coin and throw it into a pond or a wishing well or something, and that wish can come true, or you end up tricking the leprechaun You know, maybe not like the movie Leprechaun, if anybody knows that old movie. It's like, I
Oh,
wish
geez.
to have the pot of gold. You didn't say where you wanted the pot of gold. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But I won't go into the details. So it's like a monkey paw kind of thing. Be careful what you wish for, because you might not like what you wished for.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea all in itself right there.
I want to be surrounded by gold, and like 10 tons of gold just appear above your head and crush you. And now the leprechaun's got all his gold.
Got to be very specific.
Very. Even then, for a creature of magic and lived for hundreds of years, and it's just like, oh, you think you can outthink me? Let me throw a riddle at you.
Yep, the battle of wits.
I don't know. You better be a phenomenal chess player.
You're right. So I guess with that said, I know we're probably gonna have to pick up this whole topic once again, because I got so distracted with looking into stuff. Like next time I'm gonna have to probably, I don't know, we might have to bring up the whole iron and supernatural. How does that commingle with each other, and go with it in a little bit more detail and seeing how that works out. But well, I guess you know where we are. We're over here on YouTube. We do have a Facebook fan page that you can go to and chit chat with us. Leave some I don't know, suggestions on some videos that you want to see us make, or go into a little bit, or just sidetrack off to somewhere else.
or if there's a specific fae that you'd like us to go in more detail about,
yeah,
we do have a couple in mind. But if there's some of you guys that are leaning one way more to the other, we'll maybe change gears and put something out for you guys.
Heck yeah. And then we're always looking for more ideals and seeing what you guys want, and we're very susceptible to that. I guess with that said, you want to go ahead and take us out there, Mr. K?
All right. As he said, I'm Mr. K. That's Mr. B. This has been the Brothers of the Unknown, and don't forget to stay weird.
Well, they didn't get lured into a mushroom circle this time. It's probably for the best. I don't think they would last 10 minutes in a realm where you can't use a microwave. I'm retreating back to the space behind the pantry. I found a silver thimble that definitely wasn't there yesterday, and I'm going to bury it under the floorboards before it attracts any more visitors. This house is crowded enough without a bunch of winged pranksters looking for their lost property. As you try to sleep tonight, listen for the little sounds. A flutter in the curtains, a giggle in the hallway, or that feeling that blankets are just being tugged. As you try to sleep tonight, listen for the little sounds. A flutter in the curtains, a giggle in the hallway, or that feeling that your blankets are being tugged just an inch towards the floor. Don't look, and definitely don't offer them your name. Just close your eyes and wait for morning. Iron is your friend, but a heavy blanket is a close second. I've been Boogie, and this has been the Brothers of the Unknown. Sleep tight. And if you find a gold coin under your pillow, don't spend it. Nothing is ever actually free.